tell me more about what we're going to do and how you want to go about it.
So we're working on one of my PCs who's having trouble with feeling drained all the time, no matter what he does, like 24/7. There are no key things. It's just like drained 24/7 since 90s, and ever since basically whatever he tries, like some profound techniques would work the first time, but never again, and he's just never able to recover that energy. So as we were talking in the session, I got glimpses of his past life, like he was a big person, pretty influential in the multiverse, and then Reptilians, Grace, like they're after him because like he's a threat. So they decide that to target people he loves, and with that he makes decisions that he has to protect people, and decisions made there impact this present life, to where the people he loves, if something happens to them like in a bad way, his energy automatically will go to them. And so without even his own free will, that energy is being gone and drained. So that's a bad thing. And I also had like a few images of like a spaceship fleet of his astral bodies being kidnapped and messed with, of his kid being messed with, different things. So something I should focus on and like do work.
Yeah, okay. All right. So when did it start happening for him, did he say?
Pretty much like, when he was like 19 and older, slowly it built up over the years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was like an incident, like when he was 9-year-old, he was like riding a bicycle and he hit his head and got like concussion and was unconscious for a while, for like 2 days. And he said some other people say, like in the readings, say that he's a Pleiadian that was a walk-in.
The walk-in.
Yeah. He's not really sure himself, but he hardly remembers anything that happened in his childhood, and after 9 years old, after that incident, memory's pretty good. 50-50.
Yeah, we're getting the best read on that childhood
Mm-hmm.
thing, and so it might be we could focus on that, dig in, look through all that, your whatever your impressions might be a good place to start.
Sure, because a lot of things could have happened. So yeah. That was good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah, we got a good read on that, and no reads on the other stuff, so that's a good sign.
Okay. So I'm just like scanning his life, like the Pleiadian and what was before that, because the incident happened and him being the walk-in, and before that, like he was involved with like lots of wars and helping out good beings and fighting the Reptilians and stuff. And before that, he was connected with Andromeda and different things. But I'm just like running the pre-history of today.
Sure. Yeah.
So, good work. Okay, like I'm gonna stop here right now to take some notes. But it seems that like from his previous lives and the current point and where he is, he had made connections with Syrians, and on his own free will, he agrees to help them out. And as being who like. As a powerful being, he's like the infinite source of energy, and he can do a lot with it, and that's a threat to Reptilians, and he was helping out with that energy to Syrians, and with that, like, they can just drain the energy whenever they need, like, take it. But now as he gets into the earth, the whole thing is limited, and even now they're like sort of draining and like sucking it in, because they need help and they need to do their stuff, and he just like, it's not just his family, but also like the Syrian race.
Yeah, this is the stuff. Yeah, this is getting, good reads on this, getting into the earth and getting limited, and then the other things you said about it right after you said that. Tell me more about that. What did you mean by that?
What specifically?
Yeah, the thing about getting to earth and it becoming more limited. Oh,
it's just the rules of this place and all. Like being a walk-in is sort of like a backdoor, or it's, I don't know how to say it, but it's like a dirty way of coming in here without the agreements, because people that incarnate have to make agreements, but the walk-ins already walk in the case that had the agreements previously, so they don't have to make another case of agreements.
Right.
So it's like a backdoor, and you can sort of cheat on the system in that way. And him having the connections with the Andromedans and Pleiadians and stuff, and his bigger life, he comes in, and with that he gets in the body that's limited, and starts as a kid agreeing to the life where he cannot fly, he cannot do lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that mindset that he had from being the unlimited, like a infinite being, is now limited in this kid's body. And as he
Yeah.
grows in life, everything is taken away little by little, and he doesn't have memories
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole thing. Like he just doesn't have memories of the past fully. So with that, he's not able to recall of who he was, but
Mhm.
also he gets this physical body doesn't have the same effects, and the whole infinite energy he had is now very limited to what the human can produce daily, and even that is being sucked out.
Yeah, yeah. So just some brainstorming some possibilities for your next look. One thing is we could look at the agreements of the walk out. Maybe we can track them down, psychically and see what those agreements were.
Oh, the person that left, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Are there some agreements that he has, because he's assumed the responsibility for that life
Mm-hmm.
that the other one made? It's like assuming you bought the company and now you're responsible for the contracts made.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some that have something to do with being extremely drained and tired and things like that. So that's one area we can
Mhm.
look into. Another one is what can cause us to feel extremely exhausted and tired is when we tap into our purpose the failed purpose.
Mm-hmm.
As a big and powerful being, there might be some great purpose that he had here, and maybe a plan, and the walk-in part was part of a plan, but it like backfired or something didn't, a trick in the contract, even though it was backdoor, sneak in, it was like, uh-oh, not as planned,
Yeah.
and this great purpose could get failed, it triggers the failure, and that will drain a person, and maybe there's circumstances in his life that cause that to be triggered, and experience, instead of experiencing the purpose, it experiences a tremendous fail on that purpose, which is can really knock a person out, especially if it's lifelong purpose and passion from beyond the physical experience. So those are a couple
Yeah.
areas you can
Okay.
check out.
So let's start from the walkout.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Yeah, got a good read on that.
I'm sort of reading that the current family, like you have twin flames and stuff like that, like the distant souls that will meet up here on Earth and stuff. So the current family is more of the previous guy. Like he had agreements, like okay, 3 of us are gonna get together, we're gonna meet up here, and the current person, the walk-in, is fulfilling the needs of the walkout.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one thing.
Sure. Yeah. And is it possible that the walk-in is experiencing a failed purpose and not being able to do what the walk-in was doing because it got caught up in the purpose or the life of the walk-out? It's like like jump tracks somehow. The walk-in was supposed to walk in and do something, but walked in and got tripped up, and is now living too much of the life of the walk-out and getting caught up in the soul contracts and the relationships, and just can't sort it the fuck out.
I'll check. Okay, well, a few of the things I like noticed is basically the walkout. Being a living being, he wants to support everyone here, like everyone he loves, everyone he cares for and about, just like making them feel good, supporting them in any kind of way, and just like making sure that their life is good. He's like a really giving person, and as he leaves and the present person comes in, he's now not only limited by the needs to fulfill, but he also like the whole drainage of energy, because he needs it to create his own thing. He needs it to build his purpose to help out other beings, but on a whole different mission, and it's sort of overlapping with energy drainage, because he's like automatically made to give it all away against his own will, and it's just like he cannot do his own thing, and that would probably be the failed purpose, because throughout the day, as the energy is always being drained, he cannot do anything that he wanted for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Definitely. A good read on that too. Look at the walkout again and see what the walkout got caught up into once out of the life, and see if there's if that being got compromised and used as a subtle way into affect the walk-in, their client.
Okay. Yeah, throughout the session, the person said that his kid in his like younger days used to communicate with spirit guides and different beings, and those spirit guides are the same ones that were sort of baiting the walkout. So when he's unconscious, they come and like make up a nice story like, hey, come with us, we're gonna make it fun, it's gonna be like really nice, and those are the spirit guides that are gonna take the kid, and I haven't checked, but I'm just checking. Oh, that's the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
So check. Well, one of the things I'm picking on is that the guy's like taken by those like spirit guys and like put in one of those drums that are like worse than what flat Earth in a dome could be. It's just like very limited plane of existence with all the rules and stuff, and his physical body is dropped. And I'm not sure how much of that is like ongoing, but it's as if souls are being used into the sort of trap machine for powering up the AI. Like it's just like trapped in one energetic box where they're just like running them for an energy to power up the AI and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, but another thing is like the guy has an idea that he was fucked over. Failed purpose is not being with his family and those that he wanted to meet in this life.
Walk in or walk out, guys?
Walk out.
Okay.
And his mission is to get out of that place by getting more powerful and just like sort of teleporting, leaving in some sort of way. So he's able to like consciously like leave that place a little bit, and he's, I don't know if he's feeling resentful, but there's like very strong emotions into trying to get back the walk-in. And so like he's sort of like clinging to him, like when you go out of body you leave the trace of energy yourself. Same as the walk-in comes in, that trace of energy sort of just like little bit is there. So that walk-out finds that trace of energy of the walk-in, and he's basically like pulling on it and trying to get the guy out of his body so that he could re-enter. And by that it's sort of that energy is just coming out of the body.
Yeah, kind of like the walkout had a change of mind.
Yeah, he wants back in.
Yeah. And sucking the energy out of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get some reads too. So we could look at the agreements two different ways. The agreements of the walkout with the walk-in from the perspective of the walkout.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the agreements with the walkout from the perspective of the walk-in. It's like two guys making some agreements, a big deal, and they're remembering the agreement differently. No, you agreed that you would do this for that, and I go, no, I agreed that I would do that for that and this for that.
Yeah.
And there's, so we'd want to look at the agreements from both sides and do the revocation on both sides. Right? How's that sound?
Sure, sounds good. An interesting thing is, I guess that the walkout, as he wants to get back his physical body, that yearning for the physical body is what makes him stay in that realm. Because he doesn't agree to that freedom, and he's just like sort of attracted to that. But just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, like I mentioned previously that like souls being connected to that machine and stuff, might also be as a thing. Like watching TV, sort of connecting that AI, and that AI is picking up on the life of here on Earth, and specifically every being down there sees the connected person they have on Earth, and the walkout is seeing the walk-in in his life, and that like in that plane there where they are, there is no physical pain, but they're really limited, and like does the spirit guys like sort of deceive them into this? It's not gonna hurt. It's gonna be really nice. You're never gonna suffer and stuff. It's the plane where you're stuck. You cannot get out. You don't have power, and you're made to watch how the life plays out. While you cannot live the way you want it, and now it's like it's like it's a never-ending loop of like feeling suffering, and it's just taken away from you and blah blah
It's
blah.
like a cruel suffering. You've agreed to let go of your life, and now you have to watch it, and you can't go back to it even if you want to.
Yeah.
And you can't go anywhere else either, and it just makes you regret your actions and stuff, kind of like that.
Pretty much. Yeah. So I found some agreements, like, the whole thing with the family and loving and stuff. Like, whatever agreements you made before getting out, the walk-in has to live up to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, I guess, general rules or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that affects the present, like, walk-in, because, like, now he cannot do much of what he wanted because of the effects of the past,
Yeah. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I can look for some agreements on the walk-in, and
Agreements that the walk-in made.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm like looking at the agreements and stuff, and like like I'm telling you that the walk-in situation is more like a backdoor, and you don't have to make an agreements, except in this case it's as if there was a cop who stopped him, like, hey you, and sort of he got caught while coming in, which like he had to make more agreements than he was supposed to. So he comes in like with the agreements of the walkout that were present in the physical body, and he gets caught by the police, whatever, in the multiverse that stops him on like reincarnation, like incarnation cycle of like walking in, and then they're like causing more agreements.
Exactly. Yeah. He got the walkouts agreements shoved up his ass.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a cruel way to say it. As a walk-in, like he has like high purposes because of the way he used to live in the multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
and like like creating groups of people that can impact the life, raising the vibration, creating new technology, blah blah blah. There's a whole lot of things that he's supposed to do, and as he gets sent here, limit after limit after limit, and getting caught and all that.
Well, did he have to agree to like just be the other guy, like really assume the beingness of the other guy, and the other guy, the walkout was kind of like, not the same caliber of being that of the walk-in, and the walk-in has this idea of, hey, I can come in, this is an opportunity to come in and do this, my business and my purpose, and do what I'm going to do. Gets caught, now he has to fulfill the duties and responsibilities and agreements of the walkout, and there's something to be like the walkout was a loser in certain regards relative to what the walk-in was seeing, and how he would like, and the plan was never to be this guy when I walk in. It's like I'm just going to take over the basic duties and responsibilities, and the other guy's going to leave, and like third party got in there and really messed it up.
Yeah, well, it's very like what you're saying. Not like that our guy's like Walcott is a loser. Like he's a loving guy and a good person, except like on a whole different level. Like he's just like loving and wants to give. That's his thing.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a small level compared to where the walk-in is playing. He's like a few calibers above,
Yeah.
And he has like great grand purposes of the way he's been playing in the multiverse, and so he comes in, and so he has to fulfill that duty of like meeting the people like he was supposed to meet, like the walkout,
Mhm.
and also like making sure that the family and everyone else is like the close ones are like they have like this whole like good relationship going,
Mhm.
and sort of like what's the normal life supposed to be, standards and stuff.
Yeah.
And with all that, again, like as a walk-in, it's pretty much like his living, like he's not living the life where he's supposed to be. Like if that would be like a thing, like where he is right now is only 5% of what he could be doing.
Sure. Yeah.
And so he's slowly in that way, but it's like way like far away from that angle.
Yeah. Well, do we have an understanding of why the walkout wanted to walk out?
Basically deceived by the spirit guys.
Just
they were
deceived,
like
lied.
yeah, like because in the whole incident, like they were there and like they tried to make him feel good, like make him feel safe, like it's all gonna work, and they're like, oh, we can also he's gonna fall for it, So they make a plan. It's basically bad beings like covering themselves up as the spirit guides, and they're the ones that like spin the story that's gonna work out. It's not gonna suffer. It's not gonna feel pain. Blah blah blah. They tell this story, deceives the guy, and takes him to their plane, and he gets locked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it possible that the walk-in got deceived by similar? You know, this guy got deceived walking out, and is it possible? Could we look into that? Did the guy that walked in? You go, oh yeah, I get the situation. I'll make some agreements. He's thinking he's making some more ethical, responsible agreements, and getting screwed on the other side of the deal. Similarly, but different.
Yeah.
Is that a?
Like without going out of body yet and checking on it, like what I'm picking up is that he is aware enough to where he would be aware of what kind of agreements he's making.
Oh.
Like he would pick up on that, like what the fuck is going on, and he'd be able to be aware of it, and as while incarnating, he'd be able to revoke at least half of them on his own like idea, because he knows of the ways of what's going on Earth, and he's being pushed into like, hey, get over here faster. There's a free body. Why wait 9 years when you can just get a fresh one? It's a great way, and he goes for it. Gets stopped, gets caught by the police person, and has to agree to things that he didn't want to agree.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. So, do you want to do some more? You want to look for more agreements in this, and then do some revocation, or?
Yeah, look for more agreements. Look like revoke stuff, and then get the missing solstice back. See if there's any like actual kidnapping going, and return those bodies back, and maybe check a little bit on the past. Maybe, I'm not sure, because those groups that are involved, they might have been affecting the past.
Yeah. Okay.
So just saying.
Yeah, good.
I'm picking up like where that like filled purpose thing is like being caught up in the system is one of the things. Like he's as a walk-in, he was supposed to pick out a body and do everything like from scratch, but he would have been aware of the agreements, and he gets sort of how to say it, like deceived into taking the other body, of the walkout, and in that he gets caught in a thing that he did not want to get caught, and that's all of a sudden like fuck, I failed, like that fucked up on the thing that I didn't want him to.
Yeah.
And that's one of the bigger things I catch. So I'll
having agreed to do the walk-in when that really wasn't the best after all.
Yeah, because with his abilities, he would have been aware of like a lot of things and would have gone through it without having to do much of. I'm catching a thing like where that police person stops the walk-in. They have a scanner of who the being is, and they can sort of like a birth bond, but redirect it into a whole different being. And as the walk-in gets caught in the whole thing, he's basically like being told like, hey, you're too strong. You're not supposed to be like this way if you're coming to this body. And it's as if they have
a dial or turn down a valve.
Yeah. Like they're turning down the valve, and like if he would have the like lots of energy and like being the supreme being, they basically like turn it off or like really get on a very small where it's barely running, and they like sort of like lock his most beingness of who he is, like all the energy, the creation, and all the stuff.
Yeah. It's almost like the energy. He's not getting drained so much of his energy as it's getting cut off before he can even access his own energy, and then he's got a lot less. I'm just theorizing, and he has a lot less energy just during his regular day. He doesn't feel real tired working with just so little energy. But there's so little energy, just anything at all that can happen. He wants to give some of his energy. He gives that, and now he's drained because it's being cut off from the other side of his powerfulness. He had to clamp down on his energy input, so now he doesn't have as much energy to output. And when he does output energy, he just really feels the drain of it because he's not getting that big rush of energy that should be always there, coming in or manifesting in his life.
Yeah. And another thing, like to fill in, is like it's not that it's giving the energy willingly to everyone. like he's a good person. He's gonna help out everyone that needs help, but also from the agreements of the past, like he's a supreme being that's gonna help out others, and he makes sure like he's gonna protect some beings. He's gonna do that and that, like so. That is automatic decision in this life, and it's on automatic giveaway because it was a rule of his previous lives, and so it's like the walkout life, the walk-in life, the past lives of the walk-in, and also like that Syrian connection that I've sort of picked up.
The reincarnation.
Like he lived like he had a deal with the Syrians where he was helping them out, and he was giving part of them, his energy to them, and they're still taking it to this present day. So like there's 4 different occasions where his energy is being taken constantly.
Yeah. That makes
Sort of.
sense.
So it's like now I can do some clearance. Now he gets his soul access back and stuff, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just connecting the dots. As he is a walk-in, and in the period of walking in, as he gets stopped by that police person, and they sort of turn down the valve of like his like real powers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he also sort of gets fractured, and a lot of beingness of who he is sort of like just broken away, like cut off with an axe or something, and a lot of those powers just goes away, and like that energy he has and other things taken away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's as a metaphor. I think of like a big water tank, and that's your energy. And you're used to when you do work, you do dump out hundreds of gallons at a time, because you got thousands and thousands of gallons, and this is just what you do. You dump. You here. We need this much water here. Take it. And it's like he's still giving that much energy, water, but his tank isn't as big anymore.
Yeah.
So he gets drained really fast because although the adjustment happened on one side, it didn't happen on the output side, kind of.
Yeah, and another thing I'm picking in is that like he has like friends in the multiverse. Like he made a lot of friends, but there are like a few groups of beings who sort of try to come and help, and once that happens, once they try to come in and help, it's like a radar. Like oh fuck, it's like he's being like aware against. He's getting more help. Like the walk-in?
Yeah, they can just trace his friends. Oh, look. Yeah, he's being helped.
Yeah. So not only just tracing friends, but also after he receives the help or that like flow of energy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like he mentioned like some occasions where he would do some meditations and like like lots of techniques, and he would like just feel this sort of immense flow of energy, like best place in his life. That's his normal feeling state in the multiverse. And that's where like his friends like help him to push that energy through like making the channels, and he's able to tap into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the radars hit, and they like sort of lock up all the valves or whatever, like all the ways for him to get that place. And the like actual abductions, they're like trying to take those parts away, like like sort of like just depict him or like whatever, just just like make him feel like as if he is nothing.
Yeah.
So they're like the higher up bad boys. They just want to make him a walking dead guy, like walking with nothing and just being the slave to the system, and like he's too powerful for them. So yeah.
Okay.
So I'll try to work on like some, I don't know, like it's a lot.
The work on exploring the core agreements, revoking those, or fragments that got away, and bringing those back. That gets a better read.
Yeah, the fragments and ways where they can go after him, like to do that, so work again and again. Okay. Yeah, it's like you can imagine the walk-in, like as his body, who he is just like his vessel is like a cup in the desert, and all the sand in the desert is like his real being as of like, so it's basically just this supreme being trying to get into that mesh, into the cup, like get in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like doing that sort of work, and it's just amazing how much there is to that. being in. Wow.
Wow,
Okay. Well, I guess it's a good place for a break.
yeah. Yeah, I think so. Do you feel like you helped bring some his essence back?
Yeah, yeah, I've worked on it. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like you do it one time and like it's all done, but like it's a process of getting it all back. Cause
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot there.
there's a lot to get back.
Good.